The poor man's Death Note and the knockoff Lelouch has returned in Season 3 of Classroom of the Elite. Our main character, Ayanokoji, is back. But listen, there are some qualities of this show that make it better than Death Note and Code Geass. But first, before we get to that, in case you were worried, no, his expression still hasn't changed once. For the entirety of the show, he basically looks like your average anime fan in public. But Classroom of the Elite starts off a little different than most new seasons of most new anime. Most of the time, they throw you a bone and ease you back into it. Nope. Not here. This is Classroom of the Elite. If you haven't been watching the anime on repeat for the last year while you're waiting, you're gonna be lost, and needless to say, I was lost. So let me just bring you up to speed a bit. Classroom of the Elite is centered around a highly prestigious school with enlightened kids, but the catch is they're basically locked onto this campus and all the students are split amongst 4 classes, Class D to Class A. And you can move up and down the classes as you go on, and the reason this is so important is if you graduate Class A, you're basically guaranteed to make a gazillion dollars or become the president or something absolutely insane. And the way you move up is getting points, but points also double as currency. Every 1 point counts for 1,000 yen or $7. You can get more points via grade, or so the anime actually has a plot, you can get points through competitions. You might be thinking, hey, maybe competitions are running or swimming. Nope, that would be too simple. This is Classroom of the Elite, not Classroom of the Losers. They do crazy shit like being locked away on survival islands or crazy events on cruises. Basically, by the end of Season 3, our cast has been upgraded from Class D to Class C. So now that we're back up to speed, we get into this season's competition. Is it going to be a duel to the death, where the last one to leave the circle is in Class A? No, it's a group-based training exam focused on the mental development of the students. What the? And it's in the goddamn woods. Why? Have they lost their nerve? Okay, but this is actually a good thing for the series. So you see, Ayanokoji isn't a normal kid. He's from some super soldier facility, and even though he has the expression of a rock, he's essentially Captain America mixed with Lelouch. The man can literally do anything, and in this game, they're split up with kids from other classes and limited by groups. So if one member fails, they're all penalized. You see, what makes this a good change is normally they just have Ayanokoji hard carry the fuck out of his shitty class. Like he's the one global elite on his team with a bunch of silvers. He's essentially the only reason Class C or Class D, whatever, aren't kicked out of the school. But with this dynamic, you have a mixed group, which then affects Ayanokoji, which then affects the larger class. So you might be thinking, oh, this is about to get interesting and wholesome. Well, for one, you know Classroom of the Elite is only going to keep it this simple for about 30 seconds. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. This character is immediately picking a fight to see who can get the highest score. They're arguing about who's going to be the leader. He's shitting himself worrying about how his classmates aren't about to screw this up. And she's just a nice character. Bruh. So this evil character has to plot against her. What Classroom of the Elite does really well is adding in completely normal and just characters into this world of characters that are trying to manipulate one another. Like this dude genuinely just wants to look out for everyone and live his life, and because of that, the other characters that are insane and manipulative, they stand out way more. Classroom of the Elite is one of the hardest plots to follow because every single character has their own motivations. She wants to be the best and follow in her brother's footsteps. She wants to be liked by everyone to extreme, and I mean extreme cost. He wants to be just a demon and a menace. He loves the competition, he's a narcissist, and Ayanokoji, yeah, not sure what his motivation is yet. And this is where the Lelouch and Light comparisons piss everyone off, because Ayanokoji's motivation is literally a plot thread of the story to figure out, and through the other seasons you kind of get a feel for it, and it's basically the dude just wants to live his life. So a little while ago, you might remember me saying, so you see, Ayanokoji isn't a normal kid. He's from some super soldier facility, and so that period of his life is really how he ended up in this situation, and it's really the only time we see any real emotion from him is when his past is brought up. But the issue is that a lot of people still think he's too bland because the anime to this point has never really gone into detail about what actually happened. But honestly, I think it helps highlight some of the best qualities of Classroom of the Elite because of how boring he actually is, and the setting only plays into that. Most of these types of anime centered around the genius MC have super dark stories centered around death and violence and have some deeper working political plot. And don't get me wrong, Ayanokoji can throw hands. But in the end, it's that genius MC in a slice of life story setting that also has a tournament style implication with a good bit of mystery, and with him being bland, seeing him react and move with the other characters is interesting because they all have the desires of normal kids. Horikita is someone who essentially is Ayanokoji but the light version. Okay, more like the super light version, but she's just as competitive and really is only focused on being moved up to Class A, but it's due to a need to prove herself to her brother and become better. Pseudo is someone that got into class barely and is the bottom of the barrel and is feeling the pressure of being surrounded by all these great students, and in the end, he's just a normal dude. Sakura is an OnlyFans model in her free time. But then that leads to a grand plot and trial involving the student council and shows off the depth of the world. But within the confines of the story, it works more like a Congress or a Senate than anything. If someone owes you a favor, that's a big deal. If you're caught working with another class, no one will trust you, and it may come off as extreme at times, but I think you need to watch it and take it for what it is, because the point is for it to be a little bit over the top. Point being, Classroom of the Elite uses the simple character needs of a teenage kid and blows it up in an extreme manner that is actually genuinely interesting, and in season 3 there's a lot of opportunity for that. We already see when Horikita and Kushida try and mend their differences for the betterment of the class, but it doesn't come off some goofy, over the top slice of life nonsense, but instead, because of the stakes of the show already being established, you understand the gravity of what Kushida did in the other seasons and how much she hates Horikita, why a moment like that matters. With Kei, the relationship between her and Ayanokoji has been developed so much through the other seasons, and because of their success in the cruise arc, you kinda guessed that it's gonna be a lot harder this season. The ending scene also topped it all off in a great manner, showing the alliance between Ayanokoji and the former president, because those two are established characters that you know are the top of the food chain, but also left in a situation where they both can't just hard carry. One of the worries I have with this season is the opportunity for things to get muddy, because there's just so many characters that are all doing their own thing, and the plot changes so quickly. Before you know it, you go from one thing seeming like a simple issue to all of a sudden this character disappears, they're actually together, he has to do some vile shit, then Ayanokoji apparently the whole time had a plan and was completely aware of everything while she is completely unaware of everything. That's what keeps it both entertaining, but I can understand why someone would say that it's a bit much. The plot itself may seem simple, but the real gold of the story is in the character interactions and traits. So now let's talk about the animation, and honestly it's pretty decent, nothing too crazy, and the characters are drawn pretty well, and it isn't too dark, and when colors are introduced it doesn't get too muddy. Holy shit, dude, I don't know shit about animation. I hope that's right. I think that's my opinion. I think it looks okay. Come on, man. Classroom of the Elite and Ayanokoji offer some great moments that will keep you entertained if nothing else, and season 3 is off to a start that seems mundane but surely will perk back up. But I do wish they settled in a bit more and had more time in the school itself, showing off the depth of the world and all the cool stuff you can do in that campus and in that setting, with the currency, with the characters, with the systems and organizations. It's over the top, but what can I say? I think it's pretty neat. And Ayanokoji doesn't compare to Light and Lelouch. His motivation is nowhere near the same level, but it offers interesting characters that lead to a constantly evolving plot that will keep you guessing at every corner, so definitely give it a watch. If you want to watch a video on another anime, I just watched Oshi no Ko for the first time, check out my reaction there, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget, we're just getting started, we're going to stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.